You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Looking forward to today's show. As always, we've got a great wellness and weight loss show lined up for you. I like to start combining those a lot, the wellness and the weight loss. And the reason is, as I've said in the past, I know you've heard me say it before, is that you cannot achieve your ideal weight and maintain it without becoming well, without becoming healthy. There's a reason why you became overweight or started to put on the pounds in the first place. And of course, sometimes it's from overeating. Sometimes it's not moving the body enough. But a lot of times it's because the body's become imbalanced. It's become unhealthy. And we've talked about hormones before. We've talked about a lot of different things. But today I want to share with you one more thing, and that's when the gut becomes unhealthy. When the gut becomes polluted, we start to absorb those pollutants into our body. And what does that really mean? Well, it means that there is a 28-foot tube, essentially, from your mouth where food enters or liquids enter all the way through your body, goes down your esophagus, into your stomach, into the small intestine, into the large intestine, and then eventually out of your body through your anus. And that is that 28-foot tube. So that entire tract is supposed to be kept clean, nice and clean. And what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean sterile, but it means that there is not excess feces that's been there for, essentially stool that's been there for weeks or months. And that's, it's corroding that. There's not supposed to be parasites. There's supposed to be bacteria, but there's not supposed to be pathogenic bacteria, which means the bad bacteria that you don't want to overgrow. There's supposed to be yeast, but you do not want the excess candida overgrowth. You just want the beneficial strains of yeast, or to even keep all strains within check. So what we're looking for is a balanced bowel or balanced gut and not overgrowth. And what happens in this world that we live in, it's really, again, like I tell people this all the time. You can try to be as clean as you want, and you need to be. And it does a lot of benefit. Trust me, you get a lot of benefit from that. But there are times that you should just be doing cleanses, and you should just be doing detoxes, and you should just be giving your body a rest. And honestly, to me, whoever's you want to choose is fantastic. All I can tell you is that I created a brand, a company that I can trust. Like I had to see the third-party certificates. I had to make sure it was organic. I had to make sure that if I'm putting this in my body, my kid's body, my family, people in my practice, and for you, like I have to be able to trust this. And I can't always say that for many other companies because a lot of times it's all about the profit. And again, you have to make profit as a company because you have to pay all of the people who work in your team, and then you need to order all these great products, and there's a lot that goes into it. So I'm not against the profit part of it for people. What I am against is cutting corners, and I don't want anything that I put in my body to have cut corners. So today I'm actually going to talk about some products that aren't ours. They're by Dr. Schultz's company, so we're going to chat about that right now. And I'm going to talk about an intestinal cleanse. So again, there's many different topics that we can talk about, but I want to talk about the why and the how and the when you should actually complete an intestinal cleanse. And the reason why this is so important is this isn't new news. It didn't just come about in 2016 or 2010 or even 1999, okay? This has been around a long time. In the Bible, they talk about cleanses. They talk about colonics, literally using water. Hippocrates spoke about this in ancient Rome and Greece. So what I'm trying to say to you is that this information is ours to take advantage of. If modern day, whatever you want to call it, modern day, and I'm using air quotes right now, modern day medicine, because science still proves it, but if modern day medicine doesn't want to accept it, that's okay. Just keep in mind that modern day, and again, here's my air quotes again, medicine did accept cleansing of the bowels up until the 60s, 70s. Yes, absolutely. They were using coffee enzymes back then as well for pain management. We're going to talk about intestinal cleanse. It's a little different. And the reason they use them is they knew they worked. But now everything's gone the pharmaceutical route. I don't believe that's the best route. Do I believe pharmaceuticals are sometimes needed? Absolutely. I consider myself truly integrated, which means that in an acute circumstance, when your life is on the line or your family's life is on the line, you better believe you should use the best of pharmaceuticals, the best of acute medicine, the best of conventional medicine. But if you're dealing with chronic issues or you're dealing with issues that a doctor can't find any reason why you're not feeling so well, that's when you have to use natural medicine. So basically, you'll use natural medicine your whole life. And again, God forbid anything happen to you that's serious and you need acute medical care, you're not going to tune into my podcast at that point. You are then going to go to the emergency room and get the acute medical care that you need. That's what I want for you, right? It's what I would do myself. Again, all I'm sharing is what would I do in my life? What do I do every day in my practice? What do we do for the 20,000 appointments that come to see us a year? That's what I'm sharing with you right now. Because again, we might not ever get to chat over Skype. You might never run a lab with us. You might never use the nutritional supplements that we recommend. And that's okay. But what you need is this information. Because the information is outside of the realm of everything that I just spoke about. It's the truth. So we need to talk more about the truth. And you need to share this truth with as many people as you can. Not for the sake of this podcast, but for the sake of them getting healthier. You can even just be the one who says, hey, look out what I found. You don't have to give me any credit. You take all the credit for yourself. I'm happy. That's okay. Because the truth is the truth and we'll keep pushing out the truth to people. So let's get started with today. And really, what is an intestinal cleanse? Well, it's kind of like what it sounds. So when you hear about the detox, like the Dr. Cabral detox, for example, a detox is not a cleanse. A detox is literally detoxifying your body at a cellular and blood level. So it's removing waste, we'll say, from the blood. I think that's a good way to look at it. Removing waste from the blood, okay? So it's improving liver function. That's essentially, in a nutshell, that's what it's doing. It's improving liver function. And if we can get our liver to function better and faster, then that means we can clean our blood that much better. That's the whole point of natural medicine. I am not doing anything to your body. I am supporting your body to take out what it has too much of and to give it back what it's missing. In a nutshell, that's what I do. The mystery comes from figuring out what it is and how the body works. You don't need to do that. You literally complete the Dr. Cabral detox. It helps your liver function better because of phase 1, phase 2 detox, which needs certain vitamins. It needs certain minerals like selenium and B vitamins for your vitamins and vitamin E and vitamin C. And then it needs certain sulfur-based amino acids. And that will come from things like your cysteines, your N-acetylcysteine, and producing more things like glutathione down tract as well. And that simply means this. It just takes those plastics that you're exposed to. And right now, I can guarantee you get tested right now. The average person, over 270 cancer-causing toxins in your body. That's not made up. That's science. My new book goes through all of these things. But I don't want you to wait for my new book to come out because who knows when that's going to come out, right? So hopefully soon, but hopefully you get started before then. But what I'm saying is that's for the whole body. A cleanse, though, an intestinal cleanse is not a detox. A cleanse literally removes everything from the intestinal tract. That's the best way to think about it. So the intestinal cleanse that we're recommending, again, is not our company. And you've heard me say this before, so I'm not going to go through it, but I recommend what's best. Bottom line, whatever's best in our industry, you're going to see me promote it on my Friday reviews. I promote everybody's products, whoever is great. I promote people. I promote books. I promote whatever is the best because I don't want to try to be the best at everything. That doesn't make sense. I don't have that much time in the world. Nobody has that much time. So I just simply want to point, like this is where to go to. This is who I trust. I've already done the research for you. Just take the research and run with it. So with this intestinal cleanse, you get my directions, you get my instructions, you get how to walk through it, and then you get the absolute best probiotic on the market, which I'm going to explain of how to repopulate after you remove a lot of that stuff that's there. Okay, so the removal is pretty straightforward. We're using things like cascara. We're using things like bentonite clay. We're using things like activated charcoal. We know these things work. Even conventional medicine uses them. And I use that kind of like jokingly, meaning like, hey, even if they believe that it works, then there has to be some truth to this, right? So all kidding aside, this is serious. When you get poisoned, when you swallow something or children swallow something harmful, like all that fluoride in toothpaste, people say fluoride's okay. Well, swallow a bottle of toothpaste And you'll have to call the emergency hotline, literally, and they're going to tell you to take activated charcoal. They're going to tell you to do something like this cleanse right here. And the reason is they need to bind up that fluoride. Fluoride is toxic. I believe I already talked about this on a previous show. Don't let anybody fool you. It's toxic. It's a known neurotoxin. It's a poison for the body. And if you take too much, you will die. Taking a little bit, that still doesn't make any sense. You're going to take an inorganic fluoride that's synthetic, that's processed, and you're going to put it in your body and you're going to swallow it. If you believe it's good for your teeth, well, then swish some tap water around your mouth if you want and then spit it out. But you certainly don't swallow it into your body. Like, we can have that discussion, but I'm telling you right now, there are no studies saying, like, if you swallow fluoride into your stomach, that it's somehow going to help your teeth. Like, that's insane. That is insane. And putting this water in CVS and other pharmacies that have fluoride in it for infants, it's insane. Like, I mean, literally, this stuff is insane. It lowers your thyroid, proven to do that. It lowers your IQ, it's proven to do that. Wipes out intestinal flora. So, this is legitimate science-backed stuff, but we're still doing it. It's not illegal for these companies to do it. It makes no sense. But I'm going to get back on track, okay? So here's what we need to do. I do this myself now once a year. I used to do it twice a year, okay? But now I do it once each fall. I do an intestinal cleanse. I'm going to tell you many times of the year that you might want to choose this for you. I do it once a fall, and the reason is this. Over the summer, I tend to be probably a little bit more liberal with my diets, okay? It goes from 1 cheat meal a week to probably like 2 cheat meals a week, maybe 3. The weekends, So what I'm doing is I'm enjoying myself for that finite period of time in July and August. I'm not going overboard. I'm always doing my smoothie, my Dr. Wall Daily Protocol for breakfast, of course. I'm not snacking in between that. Then I'm having lunch, and the lunch is going to be healthy. It's going to be some really good food. But on the weekends, dinner, well, that might be a different story. And I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to get too crazy, but I'm going to enjoy foods that I enjoy, and I'm going to enjoy company that I enjoy being with. But again, I've already met my goals. I've met my wellness goals. I've met my body transformation goals. I'm not looking for anything outlandish. Just now I'm in a good place in my life, and I get to enjoy that. And again, you might have to get to that place first, totally understand it. And you'll get there, but I understand that. But during the fall, it's like, okay, kids are back to school, practice in full swing. It's just time to go. And I want to do a little fall cleanse. I know a lot of people talk about spring cleanse. We'll talk about that as well. I do a fall one. And so for me, you don't have to change anything. So the nice thing about this intestinal cleanse, the way I've set it up, again, I'm using Dr. Schultz's product, but I'm setting up in my own way, meaning that I've adapted it to my practice of how I've seen it work better in a clinical practice. So what I do is this, really simple. For the first 1 to 2 nights, I'm using this product IF1, and we'll link up everything. Just go to StephenCabral.com/607. StephenCabral.com/607. Of course, you can go back to all back episodes just by going to StephenCabral.com/podcast. So what I do is this. I literally take those capsules 2 before bed. And here's the thing. If you don't have 2 to 3 bowel movements the next day, you're going to increase your dosage by 1 capsule. If you have 0, well, you can increase it by 2 capsules. All of this is written out in the instructions. Very, very simple for you. Dr. Schultz doesn't have this part. I mean, it's not his job. He's a nutritional supplement brand, and I think he's a great guy. I think he's a smart guy. So here's the deal, though. When you're taking those capsules, it just helps you produce larger bowel movements. More stuff comes out. Not a bad thing. Good thing. It speeds up transit time. And the other thing is this, is that you're not running to the bathroom. Like, this isn't a cleanse where you need to stay home. I thought that was really important in my practice because I work with I work with busy people. I work with executives. I work with stay-at-home moms. I work with athletes. I mean, these people can't just build their day or a week around a cleanse. It's not going to happen. So very simple, very straightforward. If you have more than 3 bowel movements, well, then you cut back your dosage. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. Then you use this IF 2-parter, and we did this really nicely. We just set it up between meals. And so you're drinking this little drink, and the drink is just bentonite clay, and it's activated charcoal. Is it my favorite flavor in the world? No. Things in life don't have to be your favorite. It's not my favorite. Would I love not to drink this drink? Sure, but it's not terrible. I just drink the drink and it takes me a minute and that's it. And I'm done with it. I move on. So a lot of times people get wound up in the taste isn't this or the taste isn't that. It's for your health. You can take a minute and a half out. If you want, cut up a lemon or a lime and just bite into it after you're done drinking it. No big deal. You just chase your little drink with that. And what this does now is it helps to produce, it helps to pull off that bentonite clay, that activated charcoal. It helps to pull parasites, to pull bacteria, to pull excess, everything off of the sides of the bowels so that you then have a cleaner small intestine and cleaner colon. That's the point. So we do that for 5 days. Really simple. Again, you follow the same protocol. And then, very simply, after your protocol is done, every morning you'll take 1 capsule of the clean gut support, and then you can do 1 capsule before bed. And you can just do that for 2 weeks. You can do it longer, for sure, no doubt about it, but you can just do it 1 upon waking and 1 before bed. Or what if you forget the upon waking? It's no big deal. Everything's good. Like, I don't want people to get it matters, but don't get so caught up in it. Take 2 that night before bed. And what you're going to get is a very special probiotic formula. It contains something called Saccharomyces boulardii, which means it's going to be a placeholder for about the next week or 2 to not allow pathogenic yeast to grow back as we're repopulating that gut wall. So just really great stuff. And people ask, well, can I do a colonic at this time? Sure, if you want to do a colonic, you can, but you never need to. That's not the whole point. You don't need to do that. This cleanse in itself would replace you having to go get a colonic. Now, you can do a colonic, but again, I like this intestinal cleanse. And the reason is that a colonic is working your colon, right? I like the fact that this is working the entire digestive tract. I'm a huge fan of this. What are the other times I would recommend this? Well, it would be this. The other times I would recommend it are after or midway through a parasite protocol. Okay. So our parasite protocols are based on science. They're 42 days long, about 6 weeks long. And I would do that after 3 weeks, or I would do it directly after the 6 weeks. You can do it twice. Why would I do that after 3 weeks or 6 weeks for the parasite protocol? I want to remove die-off. And that's why you just continue on with your parasite protocol, but I really like when you do them together, really like it after 3 weeks. And then after the 6 weeks, you can decide to do it again or just you're good at that point. Okay. When else would I use it? Well, for the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, the CBO protocol, I would use it at the 6 week mark. So you've been doing a lot of cleansing over that first month. So again, our CBO protocol is very unique. It works you from gentlest to stronger to strongest. And that's why people don't have, the majority of people, maybe still 1 out of 30, have a little bit of die-off symptoms. Nothing crazy, but they might get maybe a headache, or they might get a little nauseous to their stomach, and it only lasts a day or 2. Typically that's all it is. We just have them back down the dosage and then start back up. But usually most people just feel great. They just go month 1. Okay, now a little stronger, but things have already been killed off. And then we go to month 3. And so it works great. But after 6 weeks, really like the intestinal protocol then. That is typically when I'm recommending it to private wellness clients in my concierge practice. So if I'm going to recommend it to them, you better believe I'm going to give you that same information, right? Because I can't work with the whole world. So I want to be able to give the world the same information that I might be using in my private practice as well. So what's one other time you could use it? Well, another great time to use it would be someone that's been constipated for a while and is about to start a protocol. Now, why would that be important? Well, let's flush the body first. Let's remove everything from the body before we start this nice healing protocol where we want to absorb more vitamins. We want to absorb more nutrients, absorb more of the good nutrition that you're about to put in your body, right? All of that matters. So again, I don't want you to rely on our intestinal cleanse forever. It is not meant to push back constipation. Use our constipation protocol. You'll get a nice little, every time you order the constipation protocol, you get my 10-page guide on how to basically, crush constipation, just get rid of it forever, because there are reasons why. And I've talked about this on previous podcasts as well. But you'll use the psyllium, you'll use the natural calm, you use all those great things, but you'll also learn why it happens. And I think that's so very, very important as well. So I'm okay with someone using this product for constipation, but not as a crutch. Remember, we're looking at the underlying root causes. This, though, if you've been constipated for a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years, get that stuff out of your body. That is pollution that just sits there. It's bacteria that ferments. And your intestines, think about it, your intestines are very thin. They're very, very thin. It's just a little thin layer of skin. And it will allow some toxins to seep through. So you have to make sure that we're keeping the colon and the small intestines, but we're keeping them clean. And it doesn't mean that they're not unpopulated by bacteria and by yeast and by other things like that. They are. But those are more beneficial strains that are supposed to be there. And we certainly don't want caked, feces, and we don't want bowel, debris, and we don't want stool inside of the little pockets of the intestines as well. So again, these are things that are just part of a healthy lifestyle. It's my recommendation that you at least do this once a year, twice a year. And if you're using our parasite or our CBO protocol, or any of our protocols where we're removing stuff in the gut, I can't recommend it enough. Even if you've been eating poorly for a month or so, or a summer, right? If you've been eating not well, then you'll want to just kind of remove things and just start fresh. Your skin will look better. Your energy levels will increase. You'll have better, more productive bowel movements. I can't recommend it enough. And that is why I wanted to bring this to you today. So please let me know if there's any questions. This was a topic that someone wanted me to talk on. So of course, I wanted to make this into a full show rather than just a kind of a 3-4 minute answer on the Cabral house calls on the weekend. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate all of your listens. And as always, if this show can help anyone, please do feel free to share it with them. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.